Outrage today in Iran as gruesome new details of prisoner abuse emerge. According to the New York Times and to emails from several human rights groups there, some prisoners say that they've been watching fellow detainees being beaten to death by guards in overcrowded, stinking holding pens. Bob Baer, intelligence columnist for Time.com, is also a former Middle East CIA field officer and author of The Devil We Know, dealing with the new Iranian superpower. Bob, good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Let's talk about what we know. What can we know from sources? I know that the intelligence services, the U.S. intelligence services, are really poorly informed from Iran. But from foreign sources and from our human rights groups and other NGOs, what do we know about what's really going on in those prisons?
Well, what we know is that the Revolutionary Guards and the vigilantes called the Basij have been arresting demonstrators and opposition figures and taking them to a particular prison, not the main prison. And there's been clear evidence, and we have names of people that have been beaten to death, tortured and beaten. Recently, Khamenei has been forced to close this prison. It's become such an outrage, even in Iran and in Qum, the holy city of Qum, that it's fairly obvious that this repression in Iran is gone very, very far.
Now, this is not a Aviv prison where we know of other people who have been detained, Hala Esfandiari and other Iranian Americans. This is another prison, and we have very little insight into what is really going on there.
It's run by the Revolutionary Guards, which in a sense is a parallel government in Iran. It's extrajudicial. There's no oversight at all. Even the prosecutors are kept out. It's a political prison, and what Khamenei, the supreme leader, is trying to do is to intimidate the opposition. And in fact, he's arrested sons of opposition leaders, and they've been beaten to death.
Now we are told from various groups that Iran is releasing some of the detainees, some of the very better known of the detainees. Is that because Ahmadinejad and the clerical leaders who really run the place are getting concerned about public outrage?
Well, I think the regime is cracking in a sense. I mean, I'm not saying it's a pre-revolution at this point, or it's going to fall, the regime, but you're seeing many clerics and the former presidents, Khatami and Rafsanjani, are coming out against the regime, against the violence. And the Khamenei is feeling a lot of pressure. They are calling into question his legitimacy at this point. I don't know whether they're going to succeed in unseating him, but by the day, unless he's able to resolve this, we're getting closer to that.
What kind of timeline is there? Is this the kind of thing which we saw with the students when they were protesting, and then there's a crackdown and then they disappear for years at a time? Or is this going to continue, do you think, to bubble under the surface?
Well, I think it's going to continue. And you know what's interesting, Andrew, is that people are up on the roofs yelling Allahu Akbar, and it's the same thing they yelled in 1979. It's almost as if the Iranians are trying to reproduce the 79 revolution. That's certainly the spirit of it.
And turn it against their own leaders, turning things
Khamenei
upside
in particular.
Down. Exactly. And at this stage, is there anything productive that the United States can do? Because in talking to people, the concern here officially is that anything that the United States says to encourage the protesters and to speak out against human rights abuses can be used by the regime to say, you see, it's the evil United States that's causing all of this, so it can hurt the cause of freedom.
Andrew, I think we should stay out of it. This regime very well could fall on its own. If we pick sides, that side will be harmed. I think this thing has progressed farther than anybody suspected, and it could really go somewhere. We could have a new democratic-type regime in that country if we just leave it alone.
Okay, Bob Baer, who knows of what he speaks. Thank you very much, Bob. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.